Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The word legend is used far too frequently in many walks of life, especially in music. On the case of one Reginald Dwight, legend is probably not big enough a word. For over 50 years, Elton John, along with his songwriting partner Bernie Taupin, have written and performed some of the greatest songs ever recorded. For every heartstring-pulling ballad, there has been a fist-punching rock anthem. With Elton recently retiring from live shows, what a perfect time to celebrate his songs. Here's Neil with 10 Elton facts.
Thank you very much, Pav. So, Elton John's real name was Reginald Kenneth Dwight, but he legally changed it to Elton John in 1972. His middle name now is Hercules. It comes from the name of the horse in the classic British sitcom Steptoe and Son, not from the Greek legend. He has the best-selling single in both the US and the UK with 97's Candle in the Wind. He has sold over 250 million records to date. And in 1998, he became a Sir. Elton John was the first Western rock star to perform in the USSR in 1979. They believe this to be the start of the softening towards the Western culture. Yes, I do. Elton started wearing glasses to copy one of his idols, Buddy Holly, before he needed to wear them. It's believed he has now over 1,000 pairs. Nominated for 4 Academy Awards, he won twice. He's been nominated for 35 Grammys and won 5, plus received a Grammy Legend Award, and he's also been nominated for 4 Tonys and won once. Get back, Elton has played live at over 3,500 shows in over 80 countries. And he famously spent £40 million in 20 months, spending £2,930,000 on flowers alone.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. There were some bits there I didn't know about at all, Neil. Well done.
Well, there you go.
Jolly good. Okay, before we introduce our wonderful guest for this episode, I've got a couple of little bits of news and business. Firstly, apologies for the 100th episode. It was Beethoven, not Mozart, that Billy Joel stole the little bit for this night. So apologies for that. As soon as I saw the comment, I thought, I realise that's wrong. As soon as I saw it, I thought I was all Billy Big Bollocks for the old, oh yeah, it's Mozart. It's not, it was Beethoven. Hello to our brand new Patreon subscriber, Patreon top head. Hello to Chris. So hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris, and thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you very much for your support. And also on the Saturday just gone, I appeared on the My 5 Cents podcast. Now, 3 very, very cool American dudes, as I'm allowed to call them. And their names are just cool, just to start with. So Juve, Habitual Line Stepper, and The Logical Genius. And it was so much fun. I'm going to put all of the links to listen to the podcast in the show notes. If you get a chance, it's a very fun listen. Don't just listen to the one I'm on. Listen to other ones as well. And hopefully in the future, we're going to get the guys on as guests on the podcast as well. So all of that will be in the show notes. Our guest tonight, writer, editor, broadcaster. She's our island girl, as it's Elton John. Ladies and gentlemen, Jo Elvin. Yay!
Hello.
It's been a while. It
has. I'm looking far too pasty to be a tropical island girl. Sorry about that. But can we just say, how has Elton John only got 5 Grammys? This feels like cause for some sort of international incident with America. Let's just go back to war with America.
But I suppose he has been honoured with the legendary, maybe to make up for it. And they're not very giving with the legendary, they say. So
the thing is, like Elton, he has a bit of a famous temper, tantrums and tiaras. It's like,
Indeed.
I think if you're Elton Bloody John and you've been nominated for 35 Grammys and you've got 5, I think, he's done all right to keep a lid on that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's all subjective, isn't it? I mean, I'd love to know who won.
No, it is not.
Do you not?
I just think that's outrageous.
Who's another one of your favourite music artists? Who would you say?
David Bowie.
So what happens if, like, David Bowie has won 7 of the ones that Elton John was?
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Nominated for. It's sort of like,
Yeah. All right, I mean, fair enough.
I was watching the on Disney Plus. They've got the last live LA show that Elton John did on the last tour that he's doing.
Mm.
And the whole concept of why did this man, with these tunes that he's written, it's got to be timing for me, hasn't it? I know there's masses of talent, but there are so many people out there that have written songs that we'll never hear that are probably amazing songs.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, it's got to be, is it fate? I don't know. But is it timing? He was in a certain place at a certain time, and now he is Elton John.
It must be a huge element of that for anybody who's cut through. But when I think of, I mean, you'll see most of my top 10 is a certain Elton era where I feel like he just set the agenda. He just knew how to write a pretty ballad in a kind of I don't know, that really raw 70s way that it just resonated. I was 2 years old and his songs resonated with me.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's the zeitgeist. What do you know what's going on in the zeitgeist when you're 2? It's like, it's really weird. I used to call him John Elton at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like, it's a bit like the Queen, is that, well, not now, but I'd never known a life without the Queen until she passed away. Now it's the same with Elton John. I've never known a world, a universe without Elton John in it.
That's it. I was thinking about that as I did this list, and it's like, obviously, talking of subjectivity, everyone's going to have their own thoughts on what are the best Elton songs, but every single one of them has some sort of emotional resonance for me at a time and a place, and particularly the number one song means a lot to me in really deep emotional ways. And I'm sure he must, he's got such a body of work, and he's been around forever. He must get so tired of people wanting to explain to him what this or that song meant to him, to them. Yeah.
So when's your first feelings or memories of Elton then, Neil?
I genuinely can't remember. I remember Mum and Dad, when I was growing up, so this would have been in the 70s, was the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Was it Goodbye Yellow Brick Road? I'm trying to remember. The picture on the front of the album was
the cartoony one.
Yeah. So that is the one. Yeah. So I used to play that because that's the only records I ever had with my parents. That's what I grew up sort of liking. And then I sort of, in the 80s, I sort of enjoyed it then at the end of the 70s. And then in the 80s, I wasn't a big fan when he did. I mean, I'm going to be quite controversial. I don't like the song Sacrifice. I
hate that song.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's
it just became
one. No,
are you joking?
No, I am joking.
No, it's just, I don't know. It also, there are certain songs that you remember that were on every 45 seconds on the radio, and that was just one of those, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I also think to myself as well that everybody, I think, likes at least one Elton John song. Yeah. I haven't met anybody that turns around to you and goes, "Oh, I hate him, hate every song." Yeah, everybody, I think, likes one, and he's one of those few artists that you can say that about.
And also Glastonbury recently, he's still got the pipes. He's incredible.
He?
He's absolutely incredible. I've never met Elton, and it's really weird because I don't know. I've been in loads of places where he's been in, and I've got actually a lot of friends who go to his house for dinner all the time. But I've never met him. But so I hope I get to one day.
And he famously keeps his finger on the pulse, doesn't he, with new up-and-coming artists. He very supportive of people coming through the ranks. And again, with people with problems, their own inner demons. I mean, look how he tried to help Pete Doherty and people like that, and famously. So I got a lot of respect for him and what he does.
Do you remember? Did you watch the Wham documentary recently?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
And there's just this beautiful moment in it where George Michael's at the Ivor Novello Awards, and he's sort of like transitioning from Wham George Michael to being the solo artist that he became. And it was like a really big news piece at the time. Elton John being interviewed at this thing saying, this man is an incredible songwriter. This man is writing songs that I wish I could have at his age. And it changed the trajectory in a lot of people's minds for George Michael. It was just so beautiful and generous and respectful, and it made me love Elton even more.
Yeah. Okay, let's crack on with the business. Jo, give us your number 10 Elton John song.
Okay, now it's quite a controversial one. It's just, I kind of feel like a lot of people would be like, what? But when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, about 1983, Elton was a big deal. He got married in my home city of Sydney. Too Low for Zero was this big album. I don't love a lot of that album, but for some reason, I'm always really drawn to the title track. And I just think it's got a really, I listened to it again today in anticipation, and the piano solo in the middle of it is so pretty. Some of the lyrics are a bit dodge. But what I say as well is I wanted to kind of slash that one at number 10 with Pinball Wizard, which I know is a bit of a cheat because he's got a version of it, but he didn't write it. But his version of it, which he did at Glastonbury, was a banger. So you decide which one of those. But I think there's something really unusual about the syncopation in Too Low for Zero. It was a really weird subject for a song. It's pure 80s. I love it. It's catchy.
Yeah, I think that was the album that he sort of had his sort of second rebirth, didn't he? He seemed to like really hit massive again with I'm Still Standing, and I'm Still Standing became the song that I felt like too much chocolate pudding. Do you know what I mean? Like, just please stop. But this song was a little bit of an unsung hero for me. Yeah.
Was this before or after when him and Bernie sort of split for a bit and Elton did his own songs?
I actually can't remember, but when you listen to the lyrics of this, it is a bit clunky.
Right.
Yeah, I think this was this was after. I think this wasn't. Let me just double check. But I'm pretty sure this wasn't a Bernie Taupin. Oh no, it was Bernie Taupin, Elton John. Right. No, they both wrote these.
Okay, wasn't your best day, Bern? But the musicality, I think, is really like, it's sort of like, again, it's like proper peak 80s with the synths and the drum beat and everything. But the piano solo in the middle is divine.
Yeah, I do like that album, I must admit. There's a couple of good album tracks on there. But you can have Pinball Wizard as well. That's fine.
Well, thank you, because, I mean, my God, that's a cheery one, isn't it? And it reminds me of those big boots.
From the movie. And what a great performance from him in the movie, wasn't it?
Oh,
Tommy,
incredible.
Very good. Go on then, Neil. Your number 10 then, please.
So I've given this one in. I don't think it would ordinarily make my top 10 Elton John songs, but I had to put it in for the sake of my grandmother, who passed away quite a few years ago. But it's Don't Go Breaking My Heart. And the reason I've done it, my grandmother died when she was 98. We all thought she'd go on to 100, but she just said, I've had enough, and went. But when she was about 92, we had a big family do at my house with all the kids, cousins, everybody. There was loads of us, and we did karaoke. And my grandmother decided to do karaoke at 92, and she wanted to do it with me, and we did this one together.
Oh my God, that's just so lovely. And that's going to make me cry.
Oh. Yeah. Well, it wasn't the greatest version that anyone's ever seen. And me and my grandmother, right up till the day she died, laughed and laughed about it. Because I mean, I don't know whether I've still got video footage of it, but we had video footage of it, which it was just hilarious.
So how many years ago was that, Neil?
I would say, she died in 2018. Probably about 2012, maybe around the Olympics, there and thereabouts. Wow.
Did anyone video it?
Yeah, we had some snippets, but I've seemed to have lost them, which is a real shame because I'd love to see them again.
Well, that song is way higher up my list. It's one of my all-time favorites. And look, I'm even wearing dungarees. And where do you think I first fell in love with dungarees? It was our Miss Kiki D.
Oh yes.
So, yeah.
I mean, I do love the song. I mean,
Yeah.
and the reason I
tune.
put it in my top 10 like that is I think, personally, I'd probably prefer some other songs, but it's the memories I've got to that song that has made it just needs to be up there. It's a lot of fun.
No, if that song's on the radio, it is up and I am belting it. I love it so much.
So you say it's higher up in your top 10. It's not at the very top, is it?
It's not at the very top.
So what number have you got it at?
Well, I'm going to put that one at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Right, so my number 10 was one of his later songs, and this was the one where the video had I can never remember, I always forget his name. Justin Timberlake. You know the song.
What's this one?
This is called This Train Don't Stop There Anymore.
It's a good song.
And this was from the Made in England album. No, sorry, this was from the Songs from the West Coast album, 2002.
I don't remember this one at all.
Do you not remember this one? No.
Because he was always tipped to be the star of the movie.
The movie.
Well, I can't remember what year it was, but I saw him at the O2 and he had a whole video where Justin was playing him on a screen behind him while he sang, and he was uncannily like him.
That was probably the video to this song.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because the other song from this album was a song called I Want Love, which had Robert Downey Jr. in the video.
Yeah, which is a great video.
Which is another that was close to getting in my top 10, but it didn't quite make it. But it's a beautiful song, and it was, again, it felt like it was another rebirth of Elton John. He sort of went back to writing just really good songs with Bernie Taupin. Yeah. And this is an absolute beautiful song.
Oh.
But yeah, so, and for our Patreoners, the videos will be up on the YouTube playlist for you. So
apart from me and my grandmother,
but unless you can find the footage,
well,
Neil,
I mean that is hugely disappointing.
You have to find it.
If I can
Neil.
find it, I will. Yeah. Well, I'll have to ask my cousins because I definitely haven't got it. So I'll have to ask if any of those have still got it.
Okay, make sure you do.
I will. I promise.
Okay, so Joe, your number 9 then, please.
My number 9, I'm going to go. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Now, the thing is, like, there's going to be so much like, what? How is that only number 9? But the rest of my list is all the absolute belting classics. And I love this song. But if you told me to go to an old-fashioned jukebox or pick something, this wouldn't be my first one. But anytime I hear it, it gets me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This to me is quintessential Elton John.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Beautiful piano work, amazing lyrics, fantastic melody. It's everything that you love about him just in 3.5 minutes.
But I also think even more quintessentially Elton John and on the same vibe is Your Song, and I think Your Song is better.
I agree. I don't know about you, but when I did my first list, I must have had 50 songs.
Well, that's the thing.
Without even having to sort of look back and check Google if I've forgotten any, they just rattled off.
But I know my top 3, like every single time. It's like bang, bang, bang. I can do that. But then the rest is like, oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
And even when I was getting honourable mentions coming through on the messages and on the socials, there were songs that were like album tracks. I thought I've got to have a listen to this because obviously I've not listened to a few of his early albums all the way through, or I have, but not only once or twice. And it's just the hit rate of amazing songs on an album, whether they're album tracks or singles, is just amazing for just two guys. I'm going to say two guys because they are a team. So
yeah.
Okay, I mean that's a great one. Neil, not in your top 10?
No, I mean it was one of the ones I wrote down, but not at the moment. No,
yeah, it's not in mine.
Could be
either.
tomorrow.
yeah, indeed. Give us your number 9 then.
So I've always thought Saturday Night's all right for fighting, so I'll go with Elton on that. No, absolutely not.
Oh God, I was going to say I fucking hate that song.
Do you? No, I do. I love the song. But
is that your number 9?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
No, that's fine. But this again I've used Memories, and
Well, now I feel terrible.
Don't,
Yeah,
because
because Neil was there dancing with his grandmother at Saturday nights.
my great granddad, who was teaching me how to fight,
And then his grandma punched someone. It was the best night of their lives.
She was a fiery little thing. She probably would have. It's reminiscent of me with my brother discovering my mum and dad's albums, and and all of this, and discovering songs for the first time. And I honestly remember this one. And when you're kids and you're dancing around the front room listening to the scratchy vinyl that you've got, that's what it means to me, and that's how I've had to pick. And I know it's not everyone's favorite, and Jo, honestly, I'm controversial with the films and stuff that I hate. Everybody is like, wow, do you really?
Oh wow. Okay, so which film do you hate? Which everyone
Titanic. I think it's the world's worst film.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's completely overblown.
Yeah, I just couldn't wait for them all to sink.
But also, I just think I've always found, personally, as a woman, Leonardo DiCaprio has always looked like a 5-year-old child to me. So I've never bought him as a leading man. But anyway, I digress.
What you mean, even now, or you mean just in Titanic?
God, well, now he looks like. I mean, I love him to death, but he looks like. I saw him at pictures at a wedding, and I for a second thought it was James Corden. James Corden's a perfectly handsome man, but he's not a leading man film star. So,
no.
I think Ricky Gervais got him brilliantly, didn't he, in the Golden Globes, where he said, about once upon a time in Hollywood's running time meant that his girlfriend was too old by the end of it.
And he does chuck them in on the morning of their 25th birthday. It's really weird. My daughter, who's 18, has got a real thing about it.
All right. Well, she's got 7 years.
No, she's not up for that, trust me.
Oh, right. Okay.
Good for her.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Sorry, back to Elton.
Yeah.
No, you're all right. But do you like that one then, perhaps, Saturday Night?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great stomp of a song. It's like when you're going to see him live. Do you think
it's a song that boys like?
Quite possibly.
Do you think it's got like a masculine vibe that's just not the same?
It always reminds me of what it must have been like to go out in the 60s on a Saturday night.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It had been all Brill cream and denim and
brothel creepers and
brothel
Watney's
Red Barrel and stuff like that.
Watney's Red Barrel,
all that kind of. It's just
and some senior service tucked on their ear.
Yeah, exactly. Something for the weekend, sir.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So it always reminds me that's what it would be. That's what it'd be like. But I mean, you're right. It's all about fighting, isn't it? And women don't fight, do they?
No.
Well, we're a little bit more tactical about it.
Kicking the nuts, that's normally does it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's all mind games.
Indeed. Okay, so my number 9 is from the album that Jo mentioned on her number 10, and it's I guess that's why they call it the blues.
Oh, it is a lovely song.
That's my number 5, Pat.
That's your number 5.
Yeah, I think that quite right. It's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Yeah, this one was written by Bernie and Elton John, and also their guitarist Davy Johnson as well. Now, am I right in saying that it was Stevie Wonder playing the
I think that
harmonica
is
in
right.
this?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, it's just a great tune, and the video again. I think the video was all about. I think it was servicemen all dancing together and getting their hair chopped off and stuff. I think.
Oh my God, that was so 80s, wasn't it? Because that was like the real Officer and a Gentleman era as well. So it was just like Top Gun. It was just a whole thing at the time, wasn't it? Men in uniform.
Absolutely.
God, why didn't I pick this song?
Yeah.
No, but I do like this song, but it's not my top 10. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, that's the thing. He's got so many great songs that you can't get them all in the top 10. So that's
as we've always said with these top 10s, they can change daily. So all depends on the mood you got when you write them. So
you're absolutely right. Go on then, Jo. Your number 8, please.
Okay, now this is obviously a lot of people's super favorite one, but in a crowded field, I'm going to go "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
Okay.
Oh, that's my number 7.
Oh, it's phenomenal, isn't it? And again, it always reminds me of his relationship with George Michael, and he's sort of like real sort of like protective protegeing relationship he had with him, so I love that version of it as well. And it's one of those ones where, God, even if you're in a Sainsbury's on a rainy Thursday afternoon, if that comes on, you find yourself getting a bit teary. in the chicken nuggets aisle. And it's
I want to know which supermarket you go in where there's a whole chicken nugget aisle. That's what I want to know.
Well, they're the Sydenham Little.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Although they don't really tend to play the music, but you know what I mean, though? It's like, I don't know, maybe it's the oxygen's a bit thinner near the freezers. I don't know, but
Possibly.
It's like you just sort of like, anytime you hear this song, it absolutely gets you in the solar plexus. It just gets you.
Yeah, and was it Freddie's memorial concert that Elton?
I think that was it. Yes,
it was, wasn't
it?
And you see, now here's another controversy. I'm not a massive George Michael fan as a singer. I find a lot of his songs dull as ditch water. Apologies to everyone that loves him, but personal choice. But I absolutely love him on that song, George Michael.
Well, I will pull you up on something there. They originally did it at Live Aid together.
Right.
What, and that early?
When they released it as a single, that was at a George Michael concert. Because I was there. I was there that night.
Wow. Because my memories of them together on this is when I first got to London in 92. I think it was like a new release around then. Does that add up?
Because they did re-release it, didn't they?
Right, because nobody knew that Elton John was there. George Michael started singing, and then I think, if I can remember correctly, because it was Wembley Arena and we were quite at the back, and Wembley Arena is quite big, so you couldn't really see anything. There wasn't screens those days, back in those days.
Imagine being there. Oh my God.
Or you heard somebody, obviously the front of the crowd knew that something was happening because somebody else got up on the stage, and when he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," the front part of the auditorium just went mad. And then, I don't know if you heard that. And then he went, Elton John, and it just went. We didn't even hear him sing. We couldn't hear him sing because everyone just went absolutely crazy.
Wow, I can imagine.
Wow.
But yeah, that was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't make my top 10, unfortunately.
It's a beautiful song. It's just got such power, and it's all about. I mean, please, anyone who can't sing, never attempt it, because it's all about the vocals, and it's just incredible. Yeah.
Apart from me and my
had a go.
We should have had a go. We could have done well on that.
You imagine that you would have gone, "Ladies and gentlemen, my nan."
Yeah.
And then she sang the Elton John
at Wembley Stadium.
Yes.
Oh, that'd have been amazing.
That'd have been fantastic.
I mean, she was about 4'0".
So he.
Yeah, so she'd have had to come out in his Dr. Martens from Tommy to be.
Also, he did, bless him, he did walk like an Anna at Glastonbury. Did you see?
Didn't he?
He did.
Feels so mean. That's terrible.
That's sitting at a piano for 50 years, isn't it? That's what
Hadn't he not long had both of his hips done though? Isn't that the reason?
You know what? A friend of mine was his personal trainer for a while, a few years, like pre-COVID, and I remember saying to him a couple of times, "What if you kill him? Please don't kill him."
He's a national treasure.
He was worried about that as well.
I bet. Oh my God. Yeah. Go on then, Neil. You're number 8.
Don't judge me on this one. I said I didn't like a lot of the 80s stuff, but there are a few I liked, and I love Passengers.
Nothing wrong with Passengers. It didn't make my top 10, but that's a great
song. I
can't
really,
even remember it.
Oh, you will if you heard the chorus go.
Okay.
I just think it's such a feel-good song, and you know when you get this is a real earworm song for me, and I think that's why it should deserve some of the credit for me. There we are. We'll have a little listen. It's taking a while to get going, but. Yeah, I just really find this such a pleasant song to listen to.
Jesus Christ, I don't remember this at all.
Can you not?
Wow. I think it was it was quite a big hit.
It was a big hit, yeah. I can remember the video because this would have been
84 actually.
84, the Breaking Hearts albums. The album after Too Hot.
84, if it didn't say Duran Duran or Spandau Ballet, it could get in the sea. So I don't remember this at all.
Because there's a little bit in the video, something about Chain of Fools was the video, I can't remember what
now I remember it.
And then there's two people doing that, and one's got both dressed the same, and one's Elton John and one's Bernie Taupin.
That's right.
Yeah, this does not loom large in my mind at all, this song.
No,
but it's also the time where I was sort of entering into, I was sort of into my beginning of my teenage years as well. So that's probably what I bought it as a 7-inch single, showing my age. So I loved it.
I had the album. I had the Breaking
Don't
Hearts
show
album.
off.
Sorry, but I did. Well, because that was when they were. The early 80s was when like you go and buy all the albums, and you sort of had money of your own kind of thing.
That's right. I'd always buy the single first and then save up to get the album.
Yeah,
I used to put albums on what they call in Australia lay-by. So you'd go and pay off a little bit every week, and when you paid it off, you were allowed to have it. They used to laugh at me at the shop, but I was a poor teen. So
yeah. I feel your pain, Joe. I'm still like it now.
But then people don't realize. I mean, kids don't realize it these days, do they? Where they can literally listen to any song they want at any moment.
Yeah, but don't you think that part of it was getting that vinyl and the design and the sleeve and that was half of the excitement.
It's flicking through your record shops. Going to the first time I ever went to London and going to the huge Tower Records and nearly spending half the day in there just flicking.
Although I was quite proud. We were in LA about 3 weeks ago, and my daughter and I, well, the three of us, my husband, daughter, and I went to Amoeba Records. Oh, right. She was in heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thousands of vinyl, like everything from like super old to all the crap she currently likes. It was all there. So,
I would love getting a vinyl album home and then taking the record out and then having the extra plus that the lyrics were there, because not all of them had the lyrics. But you go, oh my God, I can actually sort of like sing along to this, or
then
at least
you'd stare at the album cover the whole time you were listening to the record. I mean,
indeed.
But you did, the magic of it.
Indeed. And anybody that hasn't listened to it, go back and listen to our top 10 album covers. Because we did that
I'm definitely going to.
With David Diaz, because it was such... just thinking about gatefold sleeves and all of that kind of... those were the days.
I mean, I know vinyl's good again, and I mean, I buy it again now because I've still got my old record player and everything, but it hasn't got the same magic as it once did. No. It really hasn't, but... No. We can only hope it will come back like that.
Yeah. My number 8 might be higher on everyone else's top 10, but I'm going to go with Tiny Dancer. I mean, it became...
absolutely beautiful.
It became a phenomenon of his own after... What was the name of the movie, Neil?
Rocket Man.
No, not Rocket Man. There was a movie before with Jason Lee, and it was about the band... Almost Famous.
Oh, Almost Famous. Oh, okay,
Almost Famous.
Course.
That's what sort of brought it back into
the thing.
So it's sort of like big from that. But
and also, I was going to say just quickly, people keep saying they should rename it Tony Danza.
No,
I don't think they should.
I just think it's just, it really, when I listen to it, it's that complete fantasy, isn't it, of being, some rock star's girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it just sounds so sexy and so glamorous and so romantic. It's absolutely, it's every girl's fantasy, this song. It's brilliant.
Yeah, from 1971. And I'll put this in the video playlist, but there's a great, I think the BBC were doing a documentary on Elton John, and he's at the piano, like, I must have been 70, 71. And they were asking him about his process of writing songs with Bernie Taupin. They said, well, Bernie will post me some lyrics. He said, oh, like these ones. And he'll grab a stack of paper off the top of his piano. He said, like this one, this is called Tiny Dancer. And he just starts playing the very basic chords. And he's singing along to it. And you think, well, that's the genesis. That's like the Beatles Get Back documentary of him just starting to put that song together. I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing the workings of how these amazing songs get written.
And, the contents of someone's brain becoming something that means so much to millions and millions of people. I just never get my head around it. I never did.
It's crazy. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so your number 7 then, please, Jo.
Well, my number 7, dear, is Tiny Dancer. So
there you go.
I mean, we're really into my all-time favorites now, and it's just so beautiful. It
absolutely is. Okay, so Neil, your number 7 was Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me.
It was.
My number 7, I'm sure this was a hit. I'm not sure whether it was or not. I don't know. But it's a song called Leave On, for A Madman Across the Water, from that album again, from the same album.
You guys are so sort of like, coolly obscure. And
Well,
here am I,
Joe,
running through the
I
bangers.
don't know this one.
No,
Joe,
I
don't
would
know
say
this
there's
one.
this song and there's another song a little bit higher in my top 10. That the reason that I love these songs, there was an album that came out, I think it was late 80s, early 90s, called Two Rooms, which was a celebration of Elton John, Bernie Taupin songs, but they were like sung by other people. Now, John Bon Jovi did a version of this song and I loved it. It was just one of these, it's another one of these songs that it's got a bit like Tiny Dancer. There's a slow bit, a faster bit. The story, the lyrics, again, are just like, as far as I'm concerned, Bernie Taupin's one of the greatest lyricists of all time. The images he conjures up, a lot of it is like religious imagery. There's a lot about Jesus, and it can be like gospel-y. So this is the reason that this song is in. It's not necessarily because of the Elton John version. It's because of the John Bon Jovi version on that album. And so much so, you cannot stream that album on any of the services. So I had to go onto eBay and find a copy of it on CD, everyone.
Oh, wow.
So I'll have to, But I would recommend having a little listen to that. It's a fantastic song. It's an epic song. So that's my number 7. So, Jo, your number 6, please.
I'm going to go for number 6. I'm going to go Daniel. This is where I suppose my favorite Elton moods are when you just, before you've even listened to the lyrics, you know that there's a melancholia there. He's just so good at that. And I don't really know how to describe it. I used to listen to this song as a child and knew it had an emotional resonance even before I knew what it was about. And that is the power of music. It's beautiful.
It is a beautiful song.
Yeah. And it's weird. I go off and do a bit of singing sometimes, Jo. Go off to pubs and clubs.
Can you sing Daniel?
I do sing Daniel. Daniel's normally the one, if I have to if I play somewhere new and I have to set my music up, that's the one I normally sing just to do like a sound check kind of thing.
It's so interesting because when I first got to London and I lived and worked in a pub and it was so depressing. I hated that job so much. And every Friday night they'd have a karaoke, and this one regular used to come in, and he always used to sing that. And I got to the point of saying, "Will you sing that? It's the only thing that's going to cheer me up."
My God, it must have been a bad job if Daniel is the one that cheers you up, because it's quite
just takes me to a few rungs above suicidal. It's like, oh God.
It's a beautiful song, though.
It is. It really is.
Song. Yeah. Okay, then Neil, you're number 6.
So I spoke about sitting and listening to one album, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I had to put that song itself, the title track, in at number 6 for me because of the resonance of listening to it. I mean, we spoke earlier about growing into albums and finding music. I don't know whether you did from your parents, Jo. Were you?
100%. Yeah. It was Elton and Barbara Streisand all the way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I had David Bowie because my favorite David Bowie album is Hunky Dory. Everybody keeps saying to me,
my parents thought that David Bowie was I had to wait many years to discover him.
And a lot of people question my choice, but I have to explain to them it's because that's the first album I ever listened to. It's the first one
that's my favorite David Bowie album.
Oh wow. Yeah, a lot of people Anyway, we digress. So that's why Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, I had to put it on there. It's a beautiful song in itself. The lyrics I think are absolutely fantastic on that song. And very poignant and beautiful. It's magical almost, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
And it's one of the only Elton John songs. I've only got about 4. That's what I call on my all-time playlist. It's on other playlists.
Do you remember the video that even before music videos were really a thing? I remember I have patchy memories of when I was a kid of there being these really Bieber-esque illustrations that they played while they put this song on sort of like music shows, and it was incredible. It's worth looking up. It was so beautiful. Definitely in the same sort of vibe as that album cover.
Yeah.
Right. I have to look for that.
I'm gonna have to really. But it's just a lovely song, and like I say, I really like the lyrics to that song. It's
great tune. My number 6 is another classic. Well, we're getting to the point now where every song that we're going to choose now is going to be a classic.
100%.
So I'm going for Rocket Man. It was obviously the title track of the movie.
And I'm going to give it my number 3.
That's your number 3.
It's my number 3.
And that's your number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any other day it could easily have been in my top 3 without a doubt. It's iconic.
I mean, while we've been talking, I've been wondering if I want to swap some of mine out. But,
That's the problem, isn't it?
That is the way it goes.
Yeah.
But
But even his Glastonbury performance of this song just sent chills down your spine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what a song.
Yeah, it's just a perfect tune. It just is. I don't know what you guys. I mean, look, you've got it higher in your top.
Well,
10
and
than me, so.
I love that. There's I think I've seen it described. It was like David Bowie was the same with Space Oddity, wasn't it? That sort of like that future retro vibe that they had. There was like it's old fashioned to think now, but they had such an excited vision of space age and science fiction, and it was obviously a real mood at the time. Maybe it was these songs came out around the time of the moon landing, didn't they? So it was really capturing everyone's imagination, and it captured mine as a kid. And I don't know, there's something still about those songs that just hasn't dated, even though obviously the space race has.
They're timeless.
Yeah,
but it is that line where it's like, it's just my job 5 days a week. So to everyone on Earth, he's like a superhero, but he's just doing his job. That's what, and he just wants to go home, and he hates the fact that he's so far away from his family. Again, it's a heartbreaking tune, but you can't be him.
And an unusual use of like rocky guitar for Elton as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of the movie, Jo?
Rocket Man, I really was. Yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I think that we shouldn't put these things in competition, but I preferred it to Bohemian Rhapsody because I think it was truer to the person than do you know what I mean? Like they jumped around too much. They sort of like fabricated connections in the Bohemian Rhapsody film which they didn't really seem to do in the Elton one.
They went too safe with Bohemian Rhapsody for me. Yeah, they needed to like let go, didn't they? And I found it more like a TV movie than a feature film.
But there's something about again, the Elton style and vibe of the 70s was so cool. Oh, just so amazing. Like, the big glasses, the natty suits, he was amazing.
And Taron Egerton, I mean, his voice and performance just
uncanny.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Okay, we're halfway through, so it's time for this.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Yes, it's quiz time. So we've got some Elton John questions, and it's first one to 3, Jo.
Okay.
If you get one wrong, it goes over to your opponent. And as you are the guest, you can go first or second.
I'll go first.
You're going to go first.
Why not? I'm here,
Okie dokie. Here we go with number 1. How many UK number 1s has Elton John had?
Oh, fucking hell. I'm gonna say
this is on as his own or as a duet or with
God, I mean that could be, let's go with around 30.
Hang on, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
Neil?
I have no idea either, Jo, but am I right in thinking he was quite late to getting his first number 1?
He was quite late getting his first solo number 1, which was everybody's favourite, Sacrifice.
Yeah, well, we'll forget about
Bloody
that.
hell, that's a travesty.
I don't know. 3? I'll go really low.
It was actually 8.
Oh.
Are you joking?
Don't Go Breaking My Heart in 1976, Sacrifice, Healing Hands in 1990, Something About the Way You Look Tonight and Candle in the Wind 97, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word with Blue in 2002.
Jesus.
Are You Ready for Love 2003, Ghetto Gospel 2005, and then Merry Christmas in 2021 with Ed Sheeran, and then Cold Heart.
I don't even know that song.
Cold Heart with Dua Lipa in
which is one of the worst bastardizations.
Isn't it awful? But Elton, you've been so completely outrageously robbed of Grammys and number 1.
So it took him to 1990 to get his first solo number 1 with Sacrifice and Healing Hands.
A couple of decent songs in there, but God, what a lot of shit went to number 1 when you think what else is he had.
And also when you think it's not on my top 10 because it got so overdone when Princess Diana passed away. But that should have been a number one the first time around.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Neil, your first question. Name one of the two 1980s stars that sang backing vocals on Elton's 80s hit Nikita.
Oh, George Michael.
It was George Michael. I feel that was a guess.
That was a guess.
Really?
It was George
else?
Michael and Nick Kershaw did the backing
Nick
vocals
Kershaw?
for Nikita. Yeah.
That was a complete guess. Wow.
Yeah, I would never have known that. Yeah.
Joe, for you, what famous ballet-themed musical did Elton John write the music for?
You will know this, Joe.
How many ballet-themed musicals do you know?
With a young boy.
With a little boy.
Oh, Jesus, of course, Billy Elliot.
Yes.
I forgot that ballet was at the backbone of Billy Elliot.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Neil, which Beatles cover scored Elton a number one on the US Billboard Hot 100?
Ooh. Yesterday.
It's not. Joe?
Was it back in the USSR?
No, it was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Wow. Didn't know.
Well done, Elton. Yeah.
Right, Joe, for your chance to go 2-1, and you should get this one. Which actor played Elton in the 2019 film Rocket Man?
Was it Taron Egerton?
It was indeed. I don't know. That was great knowledge there. Great knowledge.
Yeah.
Neil,
yes.
When did Elton establish the Elton John AIDS Foundation? What year?
I'm going to go 92 when Freddie died.
Is correct. It was 1992. So, for the win, Joe, who did Elton John perform a duet with at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert at Wembley in the 1990s?
Was it George Michael?
No.
Was it not?
wasn't.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, it was not. Neil, for the win?
Who did he perform a duet with?
Oh, I think I know.
Annie Lennox.
No. Who do you think it was, Joe?
I was going to say Tina Turner.
No, it wasn't. It was Axl Rose. They sang
Oh,
Bohemian
well,
Rhapsody
none of us was
together.
going to get that.
They sang Bohemian Rhapsody together.
Well, I, for one, am glad I didn't know about that.
No, I was going to say I completely.
So Elton John sang like the slow bit, and then when it was the rocky bit, Axl Rose came on and sang the rocky bit, and then they sang the end bit together. So,
right.
So whose go is it now? That was Joe. So it's Neil. Your question. Elton John wrote the song "Philadelphia Freedom" as a tribute to what tennis star?
Oh, Christ! I can't think of the name. Arthur Ashe.
It's not. Joe?
I'm going to guess. This is a wild. I'm going to say Billie Jean King.
Is correct for the win. Well done,
well
Joe.
done, Joe.
Well done, well done, well done.
Well done.
Well done. That's very good. See? I mean, that was nip and tuck, and luckily I only had 2 questions left, so you managed to get it one before my questions ran out, so that's good. Okay, back to the countdown. So Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Joe, was your number 5.
Yep.
Neil, your number 5 was, I guess that's why they call it the blues.
It was.
My number 5 is Border Song, which is another one of the... now, I never realised this was called Border Song until I watched the Elton John live in LA.
You are
Disney
so
Plus.
the comic book guy in The Simpsons in this thing. You're just like all the obscure ones coming out.
I mean, if that's what you want to call me, Joe, that's fine. I mean, I've been called a hell of a lot worse than that. But I would take that. Another one of these very gospel-y kind of songs.
Oh, this sounds nice. Oh, yes.
And I believe that Aretha Franklin did an amazing cover version of this. But again, thoroughly recommend you to go and listen to it. Not one of his biggest well-known hits, but
listen to the vocals in this. He's incredible. What year is this?
This is 1970.
Yeah, because he sounds
the Elton
young.
John album,
Yeah,
1970. Yeah. Which I would, again, thoroughly recommend if anybody wants to listen to that one. It's so good. Yeah. Okay, so Joe, we need your number 4 then, please.
My number 4 is going to be Your Song.
That's my number 4.
And that's my number 2.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I don't know. What superlatives can we come up with that have never been said before? It's just one of, I love maybe it was probably quite groundbreaking at the time, that sort of like self-awareness of the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like that sort of like, it's a song about, I'm writing this song. It's gorgeous.
But I always say it's the sort of song you wish you'd been able to write for your loved one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the one that I always think, what a perfect song to pass across to somebody you love.
Do we know, is this like some common knowledge that I've missed out? Do we know who he did write it for?
Well, I know I think the documentary that went with that Two Rooms album, Bernie Taupin says that he finds it, or he did find it hard to listen to this album because it sounds like a man that's never been laid before. That's what he said. So he said it just sounds very sort of like...
Well, you know, some women find that appealing.
Well, I suppose. But this one's very close to being a song that, because you've heard it so many times, you take it for granted.
Oh,
but it's
honestly,
one of the most beautiful songs ever written.
And we're really in territory now for me with Elton, where these are songs that I will never take for granted. I never get sick of hearing them. And, you know, you can play them at my funeral. How's that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm singing.
Make a note, please. Make a note.
I will. I'm singing at someone's wedding in September, and this is their first song. They want me to sing this for their first song. So.
Oh my God, there's not going to be a dry eye.
No.
It depends how well I sing it, to be fair.
Or how fast you do it. Speed it right up.
I'll do the remix.
Remix get Dua Lipa in there.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
and completely ruin the song.
Oh, that's terrible.
But
no
this also...
to Dua Lipa, but that would be terrible.
I mean, Moulin Rouge, let's not forget Ewan McGregor's version of this. I think is so
amazing.
Beautiful.
Is amazing. Absolutely.
Not for you, Joe.
I'm afraid I'm a purist. I just... Please, no one touch this song. Well, you're allowed on the weekend, Pav.
Thank you. That's very kind of me.
But
I imagine rolling up at the wedding going, I'm terribly sorry. Jo Elvin has told me I'm not allowed to sing this.
I'm
terribly sorry.
Yeah.
So here's Dua Lipa instead.
Affidavits have been signed.
Yeah, this is her funeral song, and I'm not allowed to sing it at a wedding. I'm terribly sorry.
Don't tell them it's a funeral song.
God. That'll kill the mood straight away. Oh, go on then, Neil. You're number 4 then, please.
So it's Benny and the Jets. Now, again, this resonates with me because of being young and listening to this song. It's what I call the school disco song. It comes on and you all dance away. But I put it so high because I still really find it like that when I hear it.
See, and that is why it's not in my top 10. Isn't it funny?
Yeah, see?
But no, I love a song that makes you tap your foot and remember. You know, I forget a lot about how good these songs were. You know, you look back on your childhood and you think, oh, that's a bit of a novelty song, or that's a bit of this, or that's a bit of that. And then you go back and reevaluate them when you're older, and I actually think, that's a fucking good song.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's a perfect one. I think he's been starting his live gigs with this song.
Yeah.
As well, which is a great tune to get everybody just going, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, another great song and a great upbeat song.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, as I say, I'm more a fan of Melancholy Elton, but this is a great song. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. Okay, so that was, what was that, Neil? That was your number
4.
That was your number 4. My number 4 was your song.
Yeah.
Joe's number 3 was Rocket Man. Neil, your number 3 was Rocket Man. My number 3 is another song that I heard first of all from that Two Rooms album.
Oh, here we go.
So here we go. It's another deep cut. And it's called Burn Down the Mission. And Phil Collins did the version on the album.
Well, then I would never have even listened to it then.
Would you not?
No.
Not a Phil Collins fan.
Oh, God.
He was only good when he played the drums.
Yep. Sit at the back, Phil.
Yeah.
Hang away.
But it's another one with mixture of like religious imagery in the lyrics, but it's tailor made for Phil Collins because there's a great like drumming part. It goes fast and slow. It's another one of those story songs that just a little bit like Tiny Dancer and Leave On. Don't listen to the Phil Collins version. Joe.
No, don't worry, I won't.
Listen to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's genuinely just a classic
Okay,
tune.
I'm learning a lot tonight.
And was it the pair of them that wrote it rather than just like Elton on his own?
It's both of them. It's
so
Bernie.
Surely he should have called it Bernie Down the Room.
Oh, wow. Bernie Down the Mission, yeah.
Yeah, old Mission.
Bernie
Yeah.
Down the Room. But yeah, listen to it, have a listen. I mean, look, we're bringing stuff for you to have a listen to, Joe, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah. You're enriching my life.
Wow, all the time.
Before my funeral. Yeah.
I mean, depending on what kind of funeral you're having, Burn Down the Mission might be perfect to have as well. You never know.
Depends when you die, really, doesn't it?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you die being burnt down in a mission.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, no, that'll be perfect.
Well, not for the family, maybe.
Yeah, have a listen to that one if you've never heard that one before. So that was my number 3. So Joe, we need your number 2 then, please.
My number 2 is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I just think it's I actually think it's one of the best songs ever written in the history of ever. I just think it's wonderful, and it never fails to just really, honestly, nearly bring me to tears. It's beautiful.
I agree.
It is. Yeah, there's not a lot you could say more about it because it is just a perfect song, isn't it?
Yep.
It really is.
I'm
moving
which
That's going
then makes it interesting on what your number 1s are going to be.
I'm interested in what yours are.
Yeah.
It's from the obscure album, the B-Sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is yours as well? That's the same.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
mine's that Dua Lipa collab. Yeah.
If it is, I am turning the Zoom off. We are not going to bother with it, and that'll be it.
Dear.
There will not be an episode 103.
When I drive and I listen to the radio and that used to come on, I very rarely used to turn the radio off for anything, but I would switch channels when that song came on.
I was on holiday with some friends when that came out, and honestly, the number of times the rest of them would have a conversation about how good it was, I just thought, there's something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me.
No,
but there is, because it was like a big hit, right?
It was. When you watch that live Elton live in LA, whatever they got on Disney Plus, he plays that like the second or third song from the end, and it kills the night because all he's doing is sitting at the piano singing his little bit. He's not playing piano; it's a backing track. It just doesn't. What's the point?
It's
very
shit.
Upsetting.
When you've got so many songs that he could be doing, and he's got that one as like his second or third final ever song.
Didn't he do it at Glastonbury and everybody thought she was going to come out? And I was ready.
Somebody else, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah, I was ready to turn it off.
Although there was one man who came out. Thingy from Thingy
Brandon Flowers.
Yeah. His voice was great. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, Neil, your number 2 was your song. My number 2, this is one that everybody knows, and it's a beautiful song. It's Someone Saved My Life Tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe, the Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, 1975 was the album it came from. And I believe this is the time when Bernie Taupin tried to kill himself, and or was it when Elton John tried to kill him? One of the two, anyway.
Or did Elton try to kill himself? I think he not he sort of like indirectly did with all his substance abuse at one point.
Yes.
But,
I think it was Bernie Taupin. I think he tried to gas himself in an electric oven. I think it was something like that. I think he didn't quite know what he was doing. But
I shouldn't laugh.
No, but
thank God
from that became this amazing song.
Yeah.
But it's another great song. Okay, we've only got our number 1s to reveal. So Joe, if you'd like to just count down your 10 to 2, Neil will do the same. I can do it for you if you want.
Sorry.
Okay, so Joe's at number 10. It was Dua Lipa and Cold Cold Heart.
Sure.
At number 9, it was Dua Lipa and Cold Cold Heart. Number 10 was Too Low for Zero, Stroke, Pimple Wizard. 9, Sorry Seems to Be the hardest word. 8, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. 7, Tiny Dancer. 6, Daniel. 5, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. 4, Your Song. 3, Rocket Man. And 2, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Neil?
So my number 10 was Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Number 9 was Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Number 8, Passengers. Number 7, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Number 6, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Number 5, I guess that's why they call it the Blues. Number 4, Benny and the Jets. Number 3, Rocket Man. And number 2, Your Song.
And mine is number 10, This Train Don't Stop There Anymore. 9, I guess that's why they call it the blues. 8, Tiny Dancer. 7, Leave On. 6, Rocket Man. 5, Border Song. 4, Your Song. 3, Burn Down the Mission. And number 2, Someone Saved My Life Tonight. So, Jo, what is your number 1 Elton John song?
It hands down, it will always be one of my favorite songs. It's always my favorite Elton song. I'm not sure, no one talks about it. Song for Guy.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. I was playing that while Neil was doing
his. And I know he might be upset by that because obviously it's not a big vocal presence from Elton on that song. But it just, like you, Neil, it just takes me back to a very specific time in my life where I spent a lot of time with my grandmother.
Mm.
And I really remember making her listen to this song in her car when I was about 10 years old. And it's just, it honestly, if I've had a sherry, I'm in floods every time I listen to this.
Oh, right.
And there's just something about the chords that just kills me every single time I listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
it is
beautiful.
about mortality, and and it's
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Well, that's a shock, I must admit, because it's not one that anybody really thinks of when it comes to Elton John,
It's
is it?
hands down my all-time favorite.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of the pieces of music. Whenever they do a feature on Elton John, they always seem to play over the top of him with the. You hear it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird like that, but beautiful. Again, that piano playing. Oh,
Yeah.
Incredible.
yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, then. So that's Joe's number 1. Neil, what have you got?
So I've gone Tiny Dancer because it's always been my favorite of his songs. I just love it. I think it's one of the, we talk about perfect songs written, and this is one of them to me. I absolutely adore it. I mean, you guys summed it up perfectly, and I just can agree wholeheartedly with what you both said. I think it's just beautiful.
It's divine.
It really is. And it doesn't get ruined that often. Well, it's never been ruined. Even when, like, Taron Egerton, when he sang it, was still beautiful to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you always want to hear the original, but again, it fits in so well with the movies like Almost Famous and Rocket Man as well.
Yeah.
He does it on that. And yeah, just beautiful, beautiful song. Wish I could sing along to this one with my grandma.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go, Neil. I've done this one as well. This is a great one to sing. This is another one that gets everybody going. Not the start of it, obviously, but once people realise what it is. The trouble is, it takes a while to get going, that song.
It does.
You know, and you always, when you're singing songs for people, you always want it to be one that it'll grab them straight away. And this is
But
always
don't you, I think it does. I think it's the piano that grabs you straight away.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry to the singer to say that,
You're
but you know.
What you need to do is roll on a Casio keyboard tab and pretend you're playing before.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work, you know.
I do.
don't.
Put some massive spectacles on.
Yeah, I should try that.
Yeah, try it.
Okay, my number 1. I think you've both mentioned it. Well, it was number 2 for you, Joe, and number 6 for you, Neil. It's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
A very worthy number 1.
Yeah.
I think it is just the first chords of that song. There's something warm about it, you know. And his vocals on it, I don't think I've ever heard anybody sing like that before. And I know he doesn't sing it that way now because obviously he's 70 odd or nearly 80 or whatever. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. And when we decided to do this as a top 10, it was always going to be my number 1. There was never going to be anything. There wasn't going to be an obscure song from a 1970 album, whatever. But yeah, absolutely fantastic.
I could just sit and listen. The problem
I
is
know.
you play these songs and you
Always,
start
always.
just listening, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I'm going to love putting the video playlist together for this one just to be able to listen to all the songs. So
Joyously, my family are out at the moment, so I'm going to go and have a big old Elton fest.
Yeah,
after this.
do it.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, right, we've got quite a few honourable mentions to run through. So Pauline Mitchell says, Candle in the Wind, something about the way you look tonight. Other favourite song is Sorry seems to be the hardest word. If I could pick only one, though, it's Candle in the Wind. Karen Clark says, Tiny Dancer for me. Moonshine Kelly says, Mona Lisa and the Mad Hatters.
I'm not sure of that one.
I sort of listened to it a couple of times and I didn't really recognise it, but well done. That's for you, Moonshine Kelly.
Great.
Kit says this is a ridiculously hard and can change at any moment's notice.
Well,
So
like
many
we
great
said,
storytelling and love or lost songs. So here's his Indian Sunset, Ticking, We All Fall in Love, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, and Captain and the Kid, bookend songs, taking as one choice. Tonight, Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Guess that's why they call it the blues. I Want Love and Turn the Lights Off When You Leave. So some deep cuts there. Few, he says as well. Rick Tyndall says, my top 10, Curtains, Someone Saved My Life Tonight, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Funeral for a Friend, Stroke Love's Lies Bleeding, My Father's Gun, Oceans Away, The One, Mona Lisa and the Mad Hatters, and Gone to Sheila. Or was that Shiloh? No, Shiloh, I think it is.
Funeral for a Friend was hanging around the butting up to 12:11. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Elisa Schaefer says Mona Lisa and the Mad Hatters. Lois J. Stewart, Funeral for a Friend, Stroke Love's Lies Bleeding. What was that? A double A side, or is it a song that rolls into another song?
I think it's sort of like a double A, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a fan of those, wasn't he?
He was. Heidi Grandy says, this Cali girl loves Tiny Dancer and Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Sharon Edmonds, Daniel and Tiny Dancer. Kim Thomas Simons, All the Young Girls Love Alice. Love that song. Kristin J. Borgia, I'm Still Standing, A Candle in the Wind. See, no one said I'm Still Standing. That was one of his biggest hits of the 80s.
It was.
Yeah. Modesto Valenzuela. What a lovely name that is. Modesto Valenzuela. Rocket Man and Tiny Dancer. Shannon Powell Barrett. Leave On. Yay. Brandon Watson. They're all great, every damn one of them, but my two favourites are Simple Life and Daniel. Anna Catherine. I could hear I'm Still Standing all day and I'd never get sick of it. Tessa Charles. Your Song for its sentiment and I'm Still Standing for its victory. Cindy Henschel says, I've always loved Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, particularly the live version with George Michael. Mauricio Helbron Jr., Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. When music started, it really mattered to me. Right around the 6th grade, this was on my turntable constantly. I had worn the grooves flat on my greatest hits album, and then this came along, the countryish intro, the folky verses, and then the crashing guitars and soaring vocals on the chorus. Still never tire of it. Lisa Buchanan, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Don't Go Breaking My Heart with Kiki D. Watched his final LA concert and cried when she came out and performed. So hard to pick just a few. And Chrissia Justinson, Daniel, Your Song, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man, I Can't Do This, she says. And finally, for our final Elton John honourable mention, now I have to thank Kit. And I will this little story. So Kit has been a listener of ours for a while, and he's always given us some honourable mentions. And I'm sure on past episodes, his name is Kit Taupin. And I'm sure I've said, as a joke, that's Bernie's brother. And I did reach out to him just to ask, because Taupin's it's not a normal name kind of thing. I just said, you wouldn't happen to be related to Bernie at all, would you? He said, yeah, he's my brother, actually.
No.
So you're joking. I said, is there any chance that you might be able to see if Bernie might be able to tell you what his favourite top 10 Elton John songs are? So, I have been told by Kit that these may change tomorrow, but Bernie Taupin's favourite Elton John songs that he has written as well is Someone Saved My Life Tonight, Your Song, Sacrifice, Sorry, Bernie.
Sorry.
Leave On, Empty Garden, This Train Don't Stop There Anymore, Roy Rogers, I Want Love, Mona Lisa and the Mad Hatters, and My Father's Gun.
Wow.
So, Bernie, if you happen to listen to this, thank you so much for your work. I genuinely, personally, I think you are one of the greatest lyricists ever.
Yeah.
In the history of music. So thank you so much. And like I say,
Yeah,
tomorrow this may change, but thank you so much. And also a massive thank you to Kit for talking to your brother, basically.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's a great thing.
That is good, though, isn't it?
It feels very, very weird to
it's funny how I love Sacrifice now.
I think Sacrifice is one of the greatest songs ever. I actually, to be fair, I do like that song. I mean, I was just coming along. I was being Bernie. It was peer pressure. They were pushing me into a way. But no, thank you so much. It's very surreal to read that message out. So thank you very much.
And interesting to find out what his top 10 is. I think that's
exactly
absolutely fascinating.
Exactly. I mean, he is part of the legend. So
exactly. Yeah.
Can't ask for any more than that. That's it. We've done it. We
Wow.
have done it, ladies and gentlemen. We've
That
got
flew
our top
past,
10.
didn't
Please
it?
get in touch if you're a Song for a Guy fan. I feel like they're
I would,
like out
yes,
of my own
absolutely.
here.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
No.
love
Yeah.
that tune as well, but it just didn't. I wouldn't have made my top 10.
And
let
again,
alone
like we
number
said,
one, but-
next week it might well have been in the top 10.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's your
bizarre,
favorite.
isn't
It doesn't. It's not wrong at all.
And
is
it,
Joe? 'Cause
won't
it's your
change.
number one.
I'm very unfickle on that. So
And-
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
good.
So
Yeah.
you should.
Good.
Before we say our proper goodbyes, Neil, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with us and all that gubbins?
Absolutely. So as you all know, you can find us on social media at Top 10 Pods. Do give us a like, give us a follow, whatever it is you do on there. Email us at toptenpods@hotmail.com, where send us any questions or even ideas for a top 10. Come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/top10pods. Always loads of rewards for you on there and some secret videos as well. Check out all of our links via the Linktree. You can find the link in the show notes, and do please come and support. Leave us a rating and a review wherever you get your podcasts from.
Wonderful. Yes. So thank you very much, Chris, who was our new Patreon top head. So thank you for your support on that. And also to the My 5 Cents podcast guys. If you go, I've put all the links in the show notes. Go on there, and I think the episode that I was on will be out as we speak. Joe, as always, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Well,
You're one of our
thank you for
favourite
having
people.
me. Well, ditto. Thank you. That means so much to me because it's always fun to talk to you. So
Yeah.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it was
Out of
loads
interest,
of fun.
what are you up to these days? What are you
I am
still hobnobbing with all the superstars?
No.
Apart from us two.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. I'm running. I'm a CEO of the charity Children with Cancer UK, and I combine that with, as you say, it's live broadcasting. I've got to get up at what the hell o'clock to do Lorraine Kelly in the morning, doing all sorts of different things like that. And I have my second series of my podcast, Fame, coming out at the end of this month.
Awesome.
So, yes,
Well, we'll put
yes.
the link for that in the show notes as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
We
Thank
can
you.
do that,
Yes.
no problem at all.
Absolutely.
But it's always lovely to chat to you, Joe. And please come back. We'll find another maybe top 10
Yeah,
David
can't
Bowie.
wait.
We could do that.
Oh,
is
that'd
like-
be a good one, wouldn't it? Oh,
You can't do that to me.
There you
Yeah.
go. I
I
mean,
can't choose
there
10
it'd be
David
roles
Bowies.
reversed because I would just be
Yeah.
doing his hits and you can go with
Oh.
deep cuts then, couldn't you? So-
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
You
We're
can't do
just-
that to me. Yeah.
No, well, that's it
Like-
now. It's definitely got to be
Yeah.
that then because it
Yeah.
feels like it'd be hard for you.
Instead of
Yeah.
Sophie's choice,
Yeah.
it'll be Joe's choice.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
way worse. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we will let you go. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you
Good
very much,
night.
Neil.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, Pav. Lovely to see you again, Joe. Been great, hasn't it? It's
Indeed.
been so much
Thank
fun.
you very much for everybody for watching and listening. And let's go start the countdown.
10,